Jeez.
Are you recording?
I am recording that. I'm glad I captured that moment. What the fuck is that? I did not enjoy that one bit.
I feel like we should restart.
I feel like that would be a good idea. Actually, I feel like that'd be a great idea.
Add this to like bloopers. Bloopers section.
Okay, go.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. My name is Scott, and I have my co-host Chris with me.
Hello.
And we also have a guest named Tim,
Hello.
who is Chris's and I's friend from down the hall. Wow.
Sorry. I just saw that and it made me laugh.
But today, the topic is going to be how horrible middle school was, because I'm pretty sure we all shared shitty experiences in middle school because it was a bad time. So we're gonna talk about how shitty middle school was. Who would like to start? Tim would like to start.
I guess I'll start.
Tim, why don't you kick us off?
Okay. So, each of my middle school years, I was in a different school, so it was horrible every year.
That's a good start.
Sixth grade, I spent in Tennessee, and it was actually one of the best. I hadn't hit the weird period yet, where you're completely hit with like super hormones. So I was still a kid, still a child, and so that wasn't too bad. Then seventh grade hit, and it was some dark times, like really weird. It's like when you're first becoming an adult, so you're just like. You have all these weird things about you that you think are really weird, but they're actually like super normal. But you're like, oh, I'm totally such a freak. And then that was seventh grade. Eighth grade, I changed schools, and it was another weird. Like looking back, I never really realized how weird and horrible of a time it was. Like living in it, I'm like, oh, this is fine. But like looking back, I was like, oh no,
it was the worst.
Like if I could say something to myself back then, it'd be. Just wait.
It'll get better.
It gets better.
My middle school, which is actually interesting because my middle school was only 7th and 8th grade. My 5th and 6th grade.
Too.
Really?
Mine too.
My
yeah.
5th and 6th grade was in like an intermediate school, and then elementary, intermediate, and then middle school.
Is 5th grade usually in middle school?
No, 5th grade is elementary school.
Okay.
My 5th and 6th were in an intermediate, which was weird. But so I did not go through puberty until the summer after my freshman year of high school. So all through, I was what is classified as a late bloomer, quote unquote.
Late bloomer.
So all through middle school, my voice was really high, and I wasn't like tall yet. I hadn't grown any, but I was super, super skinny. So, I was constantly made fun of, especially being in band, and my voice was super high, so I was always made fun of. And that's when everyone's like you said, hormones were like raging.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're gay, you like penis because your voice is higher. So that was pretty horrible. That was all of middle school for me, basically in a nutshell. So that was pretty horrible. But since I was a late bloomer, no one really cut me any slack. This one time I did get pushed down though on my way to gym and called a faggot because I was like, why are you being mean to me? He's like, oh, faggot, and like pushed me on the ground.
So
and because we had to walk outside and go to our gym, so no one would see my pain.
That's so horrible.
It is real. Like that's the caliber of individual we're raising in middle school. That's what's happening. But then that guy that pushed me down like moved away, and I think he may have gone to prison. I'm not sure. So I guess I came out on top in the end. But yeah, middle school is pretty horrible. It's just raging hormones. What about you, Chris?
Dark times,
Dark
my friends. My middle school years were. Okay, so as I'd said, my 7th and 8th grade was at one school. Where I'd moved from 5th, 6th, and 7th was like high school. And then, no, just 6th, 7th, and 8th. Did I say that? I don't know what I said. Anyway, 6th, 7th, and 8th was high school, or middle school there. And so I moved from that place to the new location, and 6th ended up being elementary school. So I was already like, are you serious? I thought I was in high school, but no. I'm in freaking elementary school all over again. So I was kind of upset about that. And then it went from me being upset about having to be in in elementary school another year that I didn't think I was going to be in. Other than that, it was fun. And then middle school was like just a dark cloud. Like all I remember is that I hated it. I think that was one of the worst times of my life. 7th grade, I got into things like Black Veil Brides and Lil Wayne, and I was horrible. Like, that was horrible. I still do like some Lil Wayne, not gonna lie. Sorry for the Wait, the original Sorry for the Wait, best mixtape out there, hot fire. But like, I was in like Black Veil Brides, and it was awful. And looking back at it, I'm like, why did I ever enjoy that? That is awful. And I tried to be a gangbanger once. I went home and learned a bunch of gang signs. I would go to school and try to be all cool and thuggish. And then actually how me and one of my best friends, one of like my closest best friends in the entire world, we met each other by these gang signs. Like, he was down.
Right.
He this is his thing. I'm not down, but I'm repping. Like, that's what he'd say.
What?
I'm not in a gang. Basically saying, I'm not in a gang, but I'll fight for the gang. He's like, I ain't down, but I'm repping. And
All right.
and I was like throwing up gang signs of like a different gang, and he was like, you better stop that, man. You better cut that out. Like, he was gonna fight me, but it never happened. And then like I started throwing up like fake stuff just intentionally to piss him off. And now we're best friends. But
Now we're best friends.
other than that, but like I was not like too thuggy. Like, I wore a do-rag.
Wow. I want to
Yeah.
see you in a do-rag. For sure.
I did. I wore a do-rag for a little bit. Yeah. That
was
only
a dark
lasted.
time.
That only lasted for like a few months though. So
I remember in
Thank
middle
God.
school, because one big thing, since everyone was like constantly ridiculing me, and my parents are from Ohio and living in Weaverville, North Carolina, where most of the population is very southern. I couldn't really fit in with anybody, so I really liked camouflage, and I liked the idea of being in the military. I wouldn't wear camouflage like all the time, but I always had like some form of camouflage. I was like, maybe if I wear this, people will like me. Nope, that is incorrect. And that being that combination of that and being in like band, it made out for a shitty time in middle school, unfortunately.
we had school uniforms.
Really?
My 7th grade year had school uniforms.
Huh? I never had that.
I had school uniforms 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 6th, 7th, 8th grade. 9th grade, we didn't. 10th grade, 9th and I think it's 9th and 10th grade. We could wear whatever shorts we wanted. We could only wear khaki shorts. We could wear whatever t-shirt that we wanted to. And then junior year, they went back to like, it has to be a school-oriented shirt. And so it has to be khaki shorts or like a New Tech sweatshirt, which was my high school, or like a button-up shirt or like a collared, like any collared shirt or like a school shirt.
Huh?
And then my senior year was that way too. So very frustrating.
That is very strange.
But yeah, summing up my middle school years, that's whenever I got caught for watching porn. I failed. I was the only kid in my Algebra 1 class to fail the class. I was the first kid to fail that teacher's class the entire time he's been teaching. He has been teaching
Wow.
algebra there for forever. And I failed by 1 or 2 points. And I'm the only kid that's ever failed this class.
Damn.
And I was the only kid in my class to fail.
You just reminded me, actually, my middle school teacher got caught and arrested the year after I was in her class. Her name was Miss Mason, and she was forging prescriptions to get drugs from the pharmacy. And she would always come to class, and no one really noticed this except me. I don't know how no one didn't notice this, but I told my parents something's a little weird. She comes to class all the time. She's either crying or she's really happy or some combination of the two. It's really, really weird. And so I wasn't getting the learning that I was supposed to, and I wasn't doing well in the class. And so my parents had a meeting with the principal, And they're like, what's going on? And the principal, who was also a nutcase, was like, yeah, that's just how some kids respond in their first year of middle school. Like, this is completely normal. Like, kids just respond that way sometimes. Like, okay. And so I failed the EOG in math, so I had to retake it, and I passed it the second time so I could go on to 8th grade. But, so I failed that, and I wasn't able to get into algebra in 8th grade, so it's like set me behind in math all like through high school. So I was like a little behind the entire time in high school. Anyway, but so the summer after I moved on from 7th grade, she was on the news, and my mom got so pissed. Like, she emailed, her name was Vicky Biggers, the principal. She like emailed her and like was so mad because that's just the way we do things. Like, that's how some kids respond. And it turns out she's like a drug addict and her like kids are going crazy and like shit like that. I actually forgot about that until you mentioned the teacher like failing the class. So my 7th grade teacher was a drug addict.
I wouldn't say that like anything was specifically bad about my middle school years. It was just me as a person.
Really?
Like, I just couldn't. Like, it was just a huge identity crisis.
Oh, yeah.
And
for sure.
Oh my god, I was such a little bitch. Like, I thought I was so cool. My voice was so high pitched, and I was so whiny, and I was like upset about everything. Like, I hated my middle school years. Going back to the whole like how I failed that class. So I failed that class. I was the only one to fail and everything. But see, this was 7th grade, algebra 1. I was in an advanced group an advanced group who took Algebra 1 and then was supposed to take geometry in 8th grade. Like, high school credit.
I didn't take that till sophomore year of high school.
So, like, geometry.
That's where I was in math.
So, like,
thanks, Miss Mason.
Take geometry in 8th grade. And I also took Spanish during middle school, too.
Yeah.
Which is, like, a big thing. Like only the smart, like, only, like, 30 kids were picked to do this. Mm-hmm. So I got put in Spanish. I failed Algebra 1 by, like, a few points. And everybody made fun of me for it. And then I got to 8th grade. I got put in the stupid class. Like, I was in, like, I went from being top-notch math to being put in the dumb class. And my teacher hated me. She hated everything about me. I made, like, 90s and 100s the entire time because I already learned the material. Like, I just had made bad grades while learning this stuff to, fail the class. Mm-hmm. And I failed the EOC. EOC. So, like, it was just bad. And then my teacher just was really rude to me. And, like, I don't know. It made me really mad because that is so funny. Sorry. It just made me, like, really agitated. But I ended up passing and doing the best in the entire class, of course. And then I went on to high school. But for me, summing it up, horrible music tastes, finding out what kind of music I'm going to like, bad experiences, bullies, thinking I was cool when I wasn't, trying to be a gangster for trying to be a gangster for 2 weeks, it wasn't even like a full month. It only lasted for like a few weeks. Like, I guess that goes on with the identity thing. Trying to figure out, like, that was ridiculous. I wanted to, like, do rags. Like, I was living it up. I was like, I'd go hard, and then I'd go home and play with, like, my WWE wrestlers. Like,
yes. Wrestling was a big thing for me.
It was the biggest thing.
I was like, oh, it's so cool. They're showing real violence on TV, and then later it's like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, like, WWE was huge for me in middle school. I started watching it, actually, in 5th grade is whenever I really got into it. And, no, 6th grade. The very first time I ever watched it was in 5th grade. And I ended up watching, like, the last 5 or 6 minutes of this one match. And it was The Undertaker versus Mark Henry. Mm-hmm. If you remember this too. Yeah. He had him in, like, the triangle thing. Yeah. Like, where his head was, like, in between his legs. He's, like, locked in. And he's, like, started bleeding from his mouth. And it scared me. I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like, I was so scared. But I was actually on the phone with one of my mom's students at the time because, I don't know, he was just really nice to me. So he called me and was like, hey, I'm watching it. Are you watching? He's like, because he loved wrestling. And so he talked to me for, like, the whole, like, the last 5 or 6 minutes. And I was scared. But I didn't tell him I was scared. I was trying to be all cool because, I was like, whoa, dude. And
It's awesome.
yeah. But on the inside, I was like, no. But then, like, in middle school, like, I was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I was so into it. Friday nights, right after school, I would go home, get changed, bring my WWE figures in the living room, set up my couch. I used to this thing where, like, I'd set up my couch and, like, put all the couch cushions like this. And, like, I'd stand up on the, like, edge of my couch.
Yeah.
And, like, do a flip off of it. And, like, I thought I was, like, it was just that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friday nights.
That was
Getting ready for SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it was just like pre-game. Like, that was the pre-game.
I remember that teacher, my drug addict teacher in 7th grade, actually, I just remembered. She ridiculed me in front of the entire class. And along with going with, like, being ridiculed outside of class all the time, what was it? I kissed my quote-unquote girlfriend in the cafeteria, which is a big no-no. It's like PDA, which I didn't know. And there was a coach that saw me, like, kind of made a joke about it because he didn't really care, obviously. And then my teacher heard about it.
Did you burst into
flames?
flames?
What?
Did you burst into flames?
I did not. The punishment was supposed to be, like, call your parents or whatever. And in middle school, that's, like, the worst thing that can happen. Like, keep it all in the school. Like, don't let your parents know anything. So I was really, really freaking out and, like, on the verge of tears. And when I got back into class after lunch, the coach had told my teacher, and she literally made fun of me in front of the entire class for like 10 or 15 or 20 minutes. And I was like crying and like just sitting at my desk just like bawling. She's like making fun of me and everyone was laughing. I was like having a horrible time. And she's like, I think that's punishment enough. We don't need to call your parents. Like, thanks, I guess. And I was just like, I was losing it. She was a fucked up woman. I just made me fail math. She's a drug addict. She ridiculed me in front of everybody. What a horrible
What was I
person.
just talking about?
I kind of feel bad because although I never had anything too traumatic, like Scott's explaining to me, I guess just me growing up, it was just very difficult of who I am. And
that's a big part.
Did you ever try to be a gangster?
No.
Okay then. Okay, I go hard. I go home.
Like, I didn't really understand what my needs were. And, that was my middle school. Like, I just didn't really know what I needed or what I was going through. And it was just...
Blue balls in middle school.
What?
I got blue balls, like, all the time in middle school.
What?
Cause, like,
what
I don't know.
fuck?
But, like, talking about the whole, like puberty hit.
Yeah.
Like, I was getting, like, a bunch of random boners. And so, like, I would just always end up getting home and having, like, horrible blue balls. It was awful.
Mom, what do I do? Oh, God. Well, I never had to go through any of that because I didn't go through puberty until after my freshman year of high school. So I was like, why is everyone so mean to me? I don't understand. And then when I went through puberty, I was like, oh, now I get it. I understand. This is just like -3 years now. I get
Quote unquote late bloomer.
Late bloomer. That's literally what the puberty lady told us during sex ed. She's like, some of you will be early bloomers, some of you will be normal, and some of you will be late bloomers, and they always bloom way too late. And it's like,
I don't
know if that's me or not. Yay!
I would much rather be an early bloomer than anything, so you can just get it over with.
I knew an early bloomer, and he went through puberty in 6th grade, and he started getting acne. His voice dropped 2 octaves, and he was a baseball player.
Hey, baby.
And he was
7th grade.
You got a pretty mouth.
Yeah,
he was scary. But then he hit his growth spurt and then stopped. And then when he finished puberty, a year went by and everyone else hit puberty. So now he's really tiny and just an asshole. I think he's working at Waffle House instead of going to college.
Oh, great.
So we see how that panned out.
Sounds fun.
Moral of the story: don't be an asshole.
Yeah, that's basically
Don't be an early bloomer.
Don't be an early bloomer and don't be a cock. I wish I could tell myself, like you said, that it'll be okay. It'll work out. You'll end up in a better place than middle school. Because I thought that's the way high school was going to be. It's I don't even want to go to school anymore. This is going to be shitty. But it got a lot better. And then college happened.
Looking back on middle school, I was like, that sucked so much. But during middle school, I was like, okay.
This is just how it is.
Yeah.
I just accepted it.
I was living my life. I was struggling. Oh, I had a mohawk during middle school.
Yes.
Right before I went gangster, I had completely shaved mohawk.
That's awesome. That's the gateway into being a gangster is having a mohawk.
That's a rock and roll thing though.
I guess so.
Yeah. And then I went from having a mohawk and then I saw a whole bunch of like black kids. Right after I got it, they got it. And I was like,
I started a trend.
initiation sequences ago. So I was like, I don't know. So for like 2 weeks, I was like, gang bang, gang bang, gang, 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 gang. And then I was like,
I'm
that's
scared.
stupid.
That's stupid. We had some kids like that in high school, in middle school. And then a person came in and talked to us about what being in a gang was actually like. Like, it was a assembly for the entire grade, and everyone was like, oh shit, I don't want to be a part of that, because it's like, you're gonna get shot, you're gonna get shot at, and you're gonna die probably. And everyone was like, wow, I don't want to do that anymore. those are fun times. No, those were bad times. Those are not fun times.
Most my life living in the gangster's paradise.
You got a pretty mouth. What?
So yeah, identity problems, social problems, friends, so much unneeded drama, teachers, grades. It's just a horrible experience.
School was just like, like pancakes or the delivery system for syrup. School was like the delivery system.
I don't use syrup on pancakes.
School was like the delivery system of drama.
And sadness.
And pain. That was like, that's how you went to school, to experience all those emotions and then go home in the afternoon and just cry. Like, that's what middle school was. That was a great time. What a horrible institution.
I feel sorry for anyone who's listening out there who is in middle school.
In middle school, yeah. Just believe us, you'll make it.
Right.
You'll make it. If you're questioning, that was another thing. In 8th grade, I was questioning my sexuality because after a while of being, which you don't think about, after a while of being called gay and all that stuff, you're like, well, maybe I actually am gay. And I started like going through that. I was like, I don't want to like talk to anybody because then they might know that I'm gay, but I'm not actually gay.
Dude, so honestly, everybody called me gay too.
Yeah.
Like now that you said it, everybody did, and I always have the same thing. Like everybody kept calling me gay. I was like, but I have a girlfriend. They're like, that doesn't matter. You're a freaking fag.
It's a cover up.
You're gay.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you're like, you're so gay. And I'm like, am I gay? And so like I was like, oh my god, I don't like this. And then it ended up like, I thought about it and I was like, wait. Well, it was like, I don't know. It wasn't too long of a thought. It was like, am I gay? I think I might be gay. And then, like, it was like, it just left my mind because, in middle school, like, you're worried about something for 5 minutes, then it's on to the next dramatic thing. And then, and so, like, whenever I got older, I was like, did I seriously question if I was gay? Hell no, I like that pussy. Like, I was like, I can't believe I thought that. LOL. Like, no offense, like, if you're gay, cool. Like, I don't see why in middle school, why
is that
everybody
bad
picks
thing?
up. Yeah, like it's, I don't know. Like,
I guess just because it's different.
Yeah. But you can't be different because that means you're gay.
I mean, think about society.
Wait.
Think about society. Like, a lot of people, like, just kind of pick on one thing. Like, how, like, years ago it used to be black people. And, like, this, I think...
And then women, and then...
Then this day and age, I think it's more of gay people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at them now. Although they have equal rights, they still don't have, like, equal representation.
Right. You're right. Definitely. That's a good point, Tim.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Bringing in the college.
Yeah, really. College. Learning.
Another really good thing to talk about, and since you're saying like the whole like equal representation and stuff, like suicide, and, like depression, and like the thoughts of all these emotions in middle school. Like, if you're in middle school, you're not gonna get this simply because you're in middle school and you have to wait till like it clicks.
Yeah.
But like everyone else knows, like you had all these emotions, you thought like you were having like this horrible depression. And actually, it was like you're just learning your emotions in reality. Before middle school, everything is cupcake, sunshine, and then poop.
Yay! And that is the funniest thing ever, is poop.
Yeah.
That was like the epitome of comedy.
And then
poop.
And then there's like you have days.
What are our patties?
You have days where you just like want to go home and curl up in bed and get angry and play with your toys in your own room. And that lasts for 3 minutes until you're like, oh, I'm hungry. Or like,
exactly.
As a kid, like, and then when you get to middle school, like your emotions actually like have effect. Like you actually get sad and you stay sad and like your emotions start to form, and I don't know. So like you're getting these emotions that you've never really had before. So that's another thing to remember.
That angst that we feel towards our parents. I remember the stupidest thing I ever told my parents, like that you don't understand, or like something that's like they understand, obviously, because they went through the same exact thing. I've regretted that ever since. Like you don't understand. Like yeah, they understand. I'm just too stupid and immature to realize it. And that's a big part of middle school. Like, even though all these horrible things that we talk about happen, like it kind of shapes us into who we are and who we have been and who we're going to be, is learning from those experiences and growing from them.
And that's why Scott's Cool Guy Scott.
And that's why I'm Cool Guy Scott, apparently.
My name's Chris, this is Scott, and we're here to talk to you today. Ka-cham.
Ka-cham. Well, thank you for joining us, Tim. I'm sure you'll be on many more episodes. Because Tim is a cool guy.
But not Cool Guy Scott.
But not Cool Guy Scott.
You stay on your level. Stand down.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.
Swagadoodle.
Say bye, Tim.
Bye.
Thank you.